So first is the cerebral cortex. I didn't have enough Play-Doh, so I just drew it in. It's the outer layer of the brain and focuses on complex mental functions such as thinking and planning. And then there's the brain stem right here. It's the oldest part of the brain in the central core. And it begins where the spinal cord swells as it enters the skull, and it's focused on automatic survival functions. And then there's the medulla, which is that part right there. It controls heartbeat, breathing, and it's where the spinal cord enters the skull. After that's the reticular formation, which is focused on the sleep-wake cycle, and it's right here, kind of under this. And then the pons, which is this thing, focus on sleeping and dreaming as well as respiration and breathing rate. And then after that's the cerebellum, which is this right here, and that's basically controls voluntary movement and balance. And then the thalamus, which receives sensory info, organizes it, and then relays it back to the cortex, and that's like this blue thing under there. And then the basal ganglia, it's that little thing right there on top of the thalamus, and it controls voluntary movements with the cerebellum and cerebral cortex. And then after that's the hypothalamus, which is, it's like that little ball thing under right there, and that's eating, drinking, and like sexual activity. And then the pituitary gland, which is kind of on the toothpick right there. Or wait, no. Yeah. And that controls growth and regulates other glands. And then the hippocampus, which focuses on learning and storage of long-term memories, is right here. And the amygdalas are like on the ends of it, like these little balls, and there's two of them, and they influence aggression and fear. And then the corpus callosum is up here, and that basically holds the two brain hemispheres together and transports messages between them. And then moving over here, the frontal lobe, just this kind of part in the front of the brain, focuses on personality, intelligence, voluntary muscle control. And then the parietal lobe right here focuses on taste, temperature, touch, spatial location, attention, and motor control. And then the motor cortex, which is this one right here, focused on voluntary movements. And then the somatosensory cortex focuses on touch, temperature, pain, pressure, and like perceiving the size, shape, and texture of items via touch, and that's right here. And then the occipital lobe is like focused on like processing and responding to visual stimuli, so like with our eyes, and that's at the back right here. The temporal lobe is on the bottom, and it's focused on hearing, language, and processing and memory. And then Broca's area is right here, and then larynx is right here, and Broca's is speech production, and then larynx is like understanding spoken language.